this channel is thsi, and today I'm gonna build the Team Blacksheep Caipirinha. First, I want to thank Team Blacksheep for sponsoring this video. So let me show you what's inside the box, and then we're gonna build the Caipirinha. So here we have the Caipirinha box, and I'm gonna show you what's inside this kit. First, what's flying out first is this little carbon fiber strip. Then we have TBS Caipirinha, Team Blacksheep and Wind Rider stickers. We have 4 winglets, 2 bunny ear style and 2 sapphire style. We have the electronics package, as it seems. We have a Grobner 8x5 prop, 2 servos, I don't know the brand, a Tiger motor, Caipirinha motor with mounting options. Then we have a 12 amp ESC, a long cable which might be for the easy UHF or something like that. And what else? Probably nothing else. So that's it. Here we have the 2 elevons, which are extremely light. We have the 2 wing halves, which go together like this. We have all the negative parts, for example the battery bay, so if you don't want to use this battery bay you can just glue this one back in. Very nice feature. We have some plywood parts. One is the GoPro mount, the motor mount, the battery plate and stuff like that. Then here we have the TBS core 25 amp plug and play system, which is OSD and power distribution. We have some Velcro and the push rods and the horns in this bag. Some more negative parts, and then we have 2 carbon fiber tubes. One shorter one which is going to go in the front, and one longer one which is going to go in the back. And we find 2 more carbon strips, a Velcro strap, or actually 2 Velcro straps. Then finally the LiPo batteries and the Team Blacksheep sent me. Those are 3300 milliamp hour 2-cell thsi made by Team Blacksheep with a JST connector. They're really flat, seem pretty light, and those are going to give you about 25 minutes of flight time. So now let's start building the wing. So with these parts we're going to start out our build. First I'm going to show you the tools. I use a knife, a little X-Acto knife, some CA glue, some kicker for the CA glue, and then finally some clear packaging tape to attach the elevons. Right now we're not going to need any of those tools, because first we're going to take the 2 wing halves and the 2 carbon fiber tubes, and we're going to slide the shorter one into the front hole of one wing half just to test fit it, and then the long one into the back, and then we're gonna put the wing together just like that. Ensure it makes a tight fit, which it does in my opinion. What you might want to do is don't know if you can see that, but right here on the tube holes there is some foam left over, so with the X-Acto knife you can just kind of cut that off, or just rip it off as I'm doing it right now. So then the next step is going to be to glue in your carbon spar. Just put the front one in first, put it all the way in, then hold your finger as close as possible to the end of the tube, slide it out, and now we're gonna apply some CA glue to 1/2 of the carbon fiber spar. What you might want to do first as well is take some sandpaper and give it a light sand, just to roughen up the surface for better glue joints, just like that. If you can see it, I'm turning the carbon spar while holding sandpaper around it. Like that. I'm gonna put it in once again. First remove the dust. Put it in. Take your mark. And then I'm gonna apply some medium CA glue. And now when sliding the spar in, I mostly turn the spar, so I have a very good distribution of the CA glue. And then take a little towel and just swipe off the excess glue right here. Just like that. Now the CA glue is already drying and the spar is in quite firmly. Now repeat the exact same process with the rear spar. So now I have glued in the two carbon fiber spars. And now we're gonna join the wing halves together. Therefore I'm gonna put some glue on the spars as well as a little bit along the wing half itself. So I probably have to do this pretty quickly, because otherwise the glue dries before I join the wing halves. Just like that, and slide it in and put it together firmly. Now I'm going to focus on the front section, because as you can see in the front there in the camera bay there's a little gap, and I'm going to try my best to fill those gaps now. I'm going to just drip some CA in here. Push it together. And use some kicker. Now the next step is to glue in those carbon fiber strips. You have a total of 3 of them. 2 shorter ones and 1 longer one. I'm gonna put 2 away. Take one of the shorter ones. And put just test fit this one. Slide it into this slot. As you can see right here, it looks out a little bit, but that we're gonna cut that later on. So now that we know that they fit, we're just gonna make the groove a little bit bigger and remove any excess foam if there is, like this, by sliding the spar through the slot, like that. And then we're gonna add some CA into the whole length of the slot. Now you might want to get some scissors or some needle nose pliers, just to put the spar all the way into its slot. Push it down as far as you can. And then once again swipe off the excess CA. Now we're going to repeat the same process on the other side and in the middle. Now, as you can see, I have glued all the three spars in there. Now I'm gonna take a side cutter and I'm just gonna trim the excess of those strips off, like this, and then the other side as well, just like that. All your wooden parts, and then we're gonna select 5 parts. We're gonna take this piece right here with 3 holes. This is gonna be the motor mount. We're gonna have those 2 arms which go onto the plane on the back. You have a little slot right here and holes right here. And then you have some very lightweight balsa triangular pieces. I'm gonna take those out as well. And yes, you have 1 spare motor mount right there. So I'll put this away. Then we're gonna put this together. Just take the motor mount and one of those side pieces and clip it in place like that. And we have our motor mount. And then what those balsa pieces are gonna do, they're gonna go into corners and then stiffen up this whole motor mount a little bit. So now I'm just gonna apply some CA glue. Down in here. And also onto those vertical pieces on the inside. Then I'm gonna put this in here. Once again, clean off the excess CA glue. Check if the part is right angle. Looks pretty good. Then I'm gonna glue the next side, the other side. Clip this one in the same direction so that the slots for the carbon strip are facing the same way. And then put this one in as well. Clean off the CA, the excess. And then ensure that those 2 side pieces are as parallel as possible. Like that. And now we're gonna add some CA glue into this slot, and then we're gonna soak this balsa piece right here in. You can use quite a lot of glue in this for this one. So now we're gonna test fit our motor mount we just built. It goes in these 2 slots back here, but before we can fit it in all the way, we have to cut out those foam spacers in here. So take your X-Acto knife with a fresh blade, and then just cut it out. One side, and then just do the exact same thing on the other side. Like that. There's probably a little bit of excess foam in here, which I'm gonna have to cut out from the other side. Okay, Now we're gonna test fit the motor mount. Slots are on the bottom. And then we're gonna slide it in here. Just like that. It also fits the strip right here real well. So we can remove the motor mount. And now put glue into the airplane. Once again, I'm just gonna use the same CA as I was using before. And now you can also see why this little crack right here isn't really that important, because it's gonna be pushed together with the motor mount. So I'm gonna put some CA in here. On both sides. Then also from the bottom a little bit. Like that. I'm gonna put it in from the top, making sure that the two slots line up with our spar down here. I'm also gonna put a little drop of glue right here on the joint between the wood and the spar, like that. And once again, clean up the excess without moving the whole assembly. And here you have our motor mount. So now we're gonna build our GoPro box. There we have two options. We can build a GoPro Hero 2 or 3 version. But first we're gonna take out this long and wide piece with two slots, and also the spare motor mount, because those two we won't need. Then we're gonna have a center plate on the bottom, which is this one for the GoPro Hero 3 and this one for the Hero 2. Then we have side parts. The shorter ones are for the GoPro Hero 3 and the longer ones for the GoPro Hero 2. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the back door and the bottom plate, put the back plate on like that, then put the front plate on with the button on the left and the lens on the right from this angle. Then we're gonna take this part with the hole and the little blocker for the GoPro. We're gonna click this one in here. Like that. Then we're gonna take the shorter side piece and put this one on there. And our GoPro Hero 3 box is done. Now I'm not gonna glue this box together because it's fairly stiff anyway, and I'm gonna glue it in here so it doesn't have to hold together on its own, and also the GoPro is gonna have more space than if I would glue this together, because there will be some glue in the corners. So we're gonna test fit this one. Like that. And then we can glue it in. So now we're gonna mount the motor, and therefore we're gonna free our motor from the packet and also our mounting bracket as well as the screws. The mounting bracket is not going to be needed, as well as those short screws. We're only going to need 2 of those long ones. They are Phillips head. You can put the other ones away. I have some Loctite right here. on this little plastic bag. And now we're gonna mount the motor to our airframe. Therefore we need a Phillips head screwdriver. And the first screw we're gonna put in there is the bottom one, because right here you can only access it very restrictedly. So I'm gonna put the screw through the hole and then hold the motor to the motor mount and then start screwing in. Most of the time this should work out just fine. Tighten this one up, flip it around, dip the other screw in thread locker as well. And then screw this one in too. Now we're gonna mount the servos, so get 2 servos out of the bag as well as their accessory pack. Then you will see we have one servo with a longer cable and one with a shorter cable. You're gonna notice that the shorter cable is gonna fit from the right bay perfectly into the receiver, and the long wire is gonna go into the left one. See, if you look from the back, and it's gonna have the perfect length to the receiver bay. But first of all, we're gonna unscrew this little servo horn, because we're gonna mount a different one. Remove those two. That. Then get yourself a servo tester together with a battery. So I'm gonna plug my battery in here, and then I'm gonna plug the servo in to the other side. Then there is actually a neutral position mode on this one. I'm gonna leave it plugged in. I'm gonna select my servo horn, which is gonna be the smallest one, this one right here. I'm gonna try to put it on vertically if possible. Right here it is not quite vertical, but that doesn't matter. And now I'm gonna screw the servo horn screw back in. Now I'm just gonna take one servo or one control linkage, and I'm gonna see if the holes are big enough for those to fit in without any drilling. And this is unfortunately not the case. So we're gonna have to get ourselves a power drill. Just like that. Now test fit this again. And now it fits through very snugly, which is exactly what I want. So the 1mm drill bit is perfectly right for this application. I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. It's gonna be put in this way, so I'm gonna drill out those 3 holes. I don't know yet which ones I'm gonna use. Okay, that's done. And now we can also clip off the bottom servo arm, because this one is not needed. And it's also just in the way. Like that. I'm gonna unwind the servo wires. And we're gonna test fit our servo. As you can see on this one, perfect fit. I'm gonna check the other one. And once again, the perfect servo cable length. Really nice. So now we're gonna have to prepare our winglet or our elevons. Therefore we're gonna need the elevons themselves, obviously. Just gonna cut this bag open. Here we have 2 elevons. And we're also gonna need our servo horns, which are included in this bag with the Velcro as well as the linkages. I'm gonna rip this open. Put the Velcro aside, and as you can see, we have 2. Is it G10 or what is it? I don't know. Servo horns, and on these, you will also have to drill something. Luckily, I'll still have my power drill with my 1mm bit, so I'm just gonna drill out the holes a little bit bigger so that this rod fits. Just like that. And I'm gonna test fit this again. Perfect snug fit. That's how I like it. Now in order to glue those control horns in, I'm gonna get my X-Acto knife, and I don't know if you can see that, but there is a very tiny hole in the balsa wood. Don't know if you can see it, but that's where we're gonna cut. So I'm gonna make my cut right there. I'm just cutting through the lamination of the winglet, like this, all the way through. Then I'm gonna try to put my control horn in. Very tight fit. Looks good. Now I'm gonna pull it out again. I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other elevon. And I'm gonna push the horn in there. There we go. And I'm also gonna remove this one for now, because first we're gonna have to mount the elevons to the Caipirinha, and that's what I'm gonna show you right now. So now to mount the elevons to the Caipirinha, we're gonna mount them at this position. As you can see, this line right here is gonna be flush, and right here we're gonna have a little bit of a slot because there the winglets are gonna attach, and we don't want the elevons to rub on anything. So the left line is gonna be straight. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take some clear packaging tape, as I have it here in my dispenser. We're gonna take a piece, and this one's not good, which is a little bit longer than the elevon itself. And we're gonna put it on the elevon first. That's just how I do it. You can do it differently, but this works fine for me. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna do like 1/5 of the width of the tape on the elevon itself, because tape sticks many times better on this lamination of the elevon than on the EPP. So we're gonna tape it on here, fix it. We're gonna push out folds if we have any. just like that. And then we're gonna slowly go towards the wing, and then put the tape on the wing itself as well. It's that easy. And also make sure that there are no folds in here if you can avoid it. Looks a lot better without them, and is also a lot more streamlined and a lot more strong. Just like that. And now we're gonna take our knife or some scissors, and you're gonna cut the excess off right on the edge. Like that. And also on the other side. Just like that. So what we're gonna do now is flip the wing over, and now we're gonna put a piece of tape down here as well to give it even more stability and also more streamlined. Therefore, once again, we're going to take a piece of tape a little bit longer. And now I'm going to put the wing at an angle like this. Fold the other one down. Then we're just gonna apply the tape. One method I'm gonna try out right now is to take another little piece of tape first before you take the long one, then just tape the other one to the other side like this, and now we can easily attach the other piece on the other one with 2 hands instead of 1. Once again, we're going to put more tape on the EPP than on the winglet itself, because it just sticks way better on the winglet, on the Elavon than on the EPP. Just push out any folds if you have any. Fold the tape over. So this was part 1 of the build video of the Team Blacksheep Caipirinha. I'm gonna once again thank Team Blacksheep for sponsoring this video, as well as the 2 which are gonna follow about the TBS Caipirinha. In part 2 next week, I'm gonna finish this build. I'm gonna set up the FPV system, and I'm gonna glue on the winglet, and I'm also gonna do the maiden flight. And then later on, I'm sure there's gonna be some FPV footage of this crazy airplane. So thank you for watching. If you don't want to miss out on other videos from me, please subscribe, comment, rate, and do all that stuff. Have a nice day. Goodbye.